David Show. We have J.C. Lopez, friend of Dennis Chavez, and we're here to talk about Dennis Chavez, the accomplishments he's done, and the great friendship that both of us had with Dennis Chavez. Mine was later in his life, and yours has been his whole life.
Yeah, just about. You know, thank you for doing this, Steve. I've talked to a lot of people that know Dennis, that like Dennis, that he inspired a lot of people. And when you call me and say, hey, I want to do a little segment for Dennis, because Dennis was that ring announcer for the boxing show that you had for that.
Well, you know, let's just say it like it is. You introduced me to Dennis Chavez, and D.C., as a lot of people know him, and what an inspirational what he was to me. I mean, he came in and we're looking at him right here on the screen, and you know, he's got that contagious smile, and just makes you know. I think you said it best when we were talking before the show, was that, you know, he just brought something out of you, and he could just make you feel like you were on top of the world, no matter how you felt before you were talking to him.
Yeah, you know, going back when I first got to know Dennis again, you know, let's go back just a little bit. For Dennis, I met him in 1970. I mean, dating myself, right? I was a sophomore at Albuquerque High School, and he was a sophomore. But I played baseball at Albuquerque High, and he was just, everybody liked this guy. I mean, he had the big afro, and he was just funny, and he was just always talking. But I didn't know him, but I knew him. You know what I'm saying? So 15 years later, we crossed paths again, and we hit it off. I mean, that's one man that just made me laugh. You know, he made the world laugh. Everywhere we went, you know, he would be there, and he would just bring people up. You know, they would just bring people up automatically. You know, I've done it to him with Lobos, coaches. All the coaches knew him out there. I mean, they loved Dennis. You know, he used to make them laugh, man. Like, yeah.
Well, you know, I wouldn't have met him without you bringing him to me, and I kind of like to speak about that just a little bit. Is that, you know, we were public access, and we were getting shows, and you came to me, and the Perez brothers we went to promote boxing and bring boxing to a new level, which we did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perez Collision.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And we
Perez brothers.
Yeah. And he hosts the show, and I'll never forget. He called me and he said, "Steve, you know, can I talk to you?" And I'm like, "Oh, here we go. It's going to be about money, and it's going to be about you know how much because we're on a low budget at the time, and still on a low budget. But I'm just saying, it was this
low budget.
Yeah, a little low budget now, especially now with COVID. Okay, but he came into my office, and he sat down, and we were downstairs, and he came in, and he goes, "Steve, I just want to thank you for the opportunity." He says, "You know, you enlightened me to give me an opportunity to do this, and I want to break bread with you." And I'm like, well, and I was on a diet, and I was like, I can't. I was like, no.
You brought a cake?
No, he brought a big old freaking cake, and I know a big old. And so I said, "All right, I can't say no to you," and we did, and from that point on, it was like. I know you 1970, but it just seemed like, you know, that I got to know him, and here's some more pictures of him.
Yeah, there he is golfing up here. That's myself, John Dantes. Remember John Dantes? And my uncle Orlando, and Dennis, D.C. Chavez. Dennis made us. There he is again. Yeah. So you know, Dennis was always involved. Like there was YDI. You know, Dennis was always involved not just with sports, you know, but he was involved politically. He'd help a lot of candidates, and he was one of them soldiers on the ground, knocking on doors, you know, putting in signs. I mean, that was Dennis. He gave a lot back.
Well, and talent, just besides boxing, he's known for the boxing, and Albuquerque Journal for putting him on the first page of the sports page. That meant a lot to the boxing world for one, and also to show that what he had done over his life. But you and him, I mean, you said he was a magician?
He was a magician. He could make coins disappear. He could work with cards. I mean, he was good with his hands. He was pretty good. We talked about it. If he was criminally, he would be a great pickpocket. Because he was good with his hands, but but we talked about that guy. Can you imagine, because these guys that are going airports, that was Dennis. Dennis was good with his hands, quick, you know, but also not just a magician, he was a comedian, you know, and the world was his stage. I mean, because wherever we'd go, he got mad. I'm gonna tell you a story. He got mad one time at me because we're gonna have lunch.
Nobody gets mad at you, Jason.
Yeah. And we were having lunch, and I knew he was gonna join us. And I told the guys I was having lunch with, I go, you know, I'll buy your lunch. I'll buy your lunch if you guys don't laugh within the first minute when my buddy shows up. I go, he'll make it up. And they go, you got it. Sure enough, Dennis showed up. Right away, Dennis gets in his routine, and these guys were busting, laughing. And they looked at me like, you won, man. You got. Well, Dennis took that in a bad way. I go, no, that was a good way, dude. I go, this is a good, you know, because you inspire people. You make people feel good. And I knew you would, and you did. I go, and so he took it. Wherever we went, he was good with it, you know.
And that's the attribute that you discussed, that, you know, he had a way of just, you know, making you feel good. I mean, and his voice, he could change his voice from low to high to small.
He was a good storyteller. You know, even stuff that he did in his life, he would make it funny. You know, I mean, he was just a good storyteller of life itself. You know, I say he missed his calling years ago. He could have been one of them big-time comedians in Hollywood. You know, he could have. I mean, he had that natural personality to do what he does. You know, a lot of people are funny on stage, but off stage they're just don't. You know, Dennis was funny. He was always on it, man. He was on it. You know, I miss him already. I mean, I miss him a lot because he became part of a fixture in my life. You know. So.
Well, you know, what we're talking about, I still see his contagious smile. You know, he comes in and sharp. I mean, you know, he had a way of current events putting it away in a way that it was just like I said. The words inspiration. Right now, when I heard his, you know, heard his death or whatever, I had to call you and you didn't want to talk about anything about his death. I just want to talk about the good times that
he left a lot.
He brought in. Well, we're going to go to the top 10 plays of the week with Dream Style, and come back and come back and talk more about it and talk about Dennis Chavez.
Yeah.
They haven't gone back to more. Racknell is still in there. Throwing on the post pattern. Caught. Down. What a catch at the 25-yard line. That's just a great catch by number 1, Drake Owen.
Single running back. And West does get the ball, and he has wide open lane. Let's see if he can make it. He punches it in. Did they get it? Yes! Touchdown, Ben West. Hands the ball off, nice hold for a nice run. He breaks one, breaks two, touchdown!
Second down, Smith. Plenty of time, a little pump fake. Fires in, he's going for Connor O'Toole to the end zone.
Fowler the play fake, throws it out to Colson on the screen. Colson breaks a tackle. 20, you might be going to the house. Touchdown Mustangs.
Third down and 16. Redford gonna throw it, throws it out. The receiver slipped. The ball is picked, and back to the north side we go. And this could go all the way back for a touchdown and into the end zone. Set far side for Bell. She couldn't put it away. Sharp over the block. Salas. Ray. Hit over by Cheshire. Sharp again through the block. They're going to set Bell on the far side. Gonzalez Sanchez digs it out. Jones will push it to Sharp. That's been her spot, but they're scrambling and still alive. Now it's going to come over. Salas gets it there. Jones. Gonzalez Sanchez, Sharp will have another swing. Just barely able to get it back over. Great defense for Pius. They'll try Wallace on the other side. Yes!
Play fake. Throws. Oh, what a catch by Reggie Colson. Boy, he got whacked and still came down with it.
Handoff goes right side. Breaking some tackles and more. Off to the races. Still on his feet into the end zone. What a
middle of the field. One of the most impressive things you will ever see.
Here's a quick slant, and look at the speed by Altier. Can anybody catch him? A foot race. Altier. What an answer.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We got J.C. Lopez, friend of D.C. Chavez, Dennis Chavez, and you know, back to the community. I mean, he did a lot of things. But the community, Albuquerque, he loved Albuquerke.
Mm-hmm. He did. You know, one thing I want to mention is just about a month ago, 2 months ago. No, it was during the COVID. He was on KOB's Pay It Forward, KOB TV. You know, so I think we're going to show a little clip about that. We want to thank KOB for sharing this. He was helping God's Place, God's Help on Central, God's House, I believe it is.
Here we go. Let's just enjoy this right now.
With Pastor Chuck Aragon, that's him there.
Well, you know, this is something. You know, he didn't. I mean, he was. It wasn't about money with him. It was about doing the right thing, and I think that's something that you have in common with, you know. Here we go, right here. So.
That's what he does.
So we're going to Dennis Chavez says Aragon started God's Warehouse in a garage in downtown Albuquerque and moved it into the International District, one of the worst parts of town.
He believes that everybody's equal. He believes everybody needs help. And that's what he does.
So we're going to give you $400 to help pay it forward.
All right.
100, 200,
Yeah.
300,
Yeah.
$400. Are you ready to pay it forward?
Let's pay it forward, my man. Let's do it. All right.
With the music blasting, we go on a mission to find Pastor Chuck.
Jesse, we got a surprise for you. We got a surprise for you.
Let's go outside.
All right, let's go.
But things get a little emotional when it's time for Chavez to pay it forward.
Many years ago when I had nowhere to go, I remember, I went to your home. And you took care of me and my daughter and fed us.
Yeah.
You're always paying it forward. Today, KOB Channel 4 and I are going to pay it forward to you. Yeah, everybody makes some noise.
Oh my gosh.
Now, open your hand. Open your hands. Open your hands. All right, everybody.
Nobody look.
100.
All right.
200. 300.
All right.
Emotional guy,
That was
you know.
awesome.
You know,
Yeah.
he shows, and like I said, I don't know him like you do and other friends, and I like to tell, but that was a big thrill for him to be able to go do that.
He was, you know, him and Chuck go back, Pastor Chuck go a long way. So, you know, Dennis, you know, did share that story with me in the past of how, and he felt like he might have hit rock bottom, but you know what? He always inspired to do good things, and it's showing now in his passing, you know. So, you know, a lot of people have come out of like say the woodwork, you know, and have said very nice things about Dennis, and they remember Dennis, good memories of Dennis, you know. So, no, it was nice, you know, seeing that segment. Because I remember seeing it way back when it happened. You know?
Well, you know, like I said, that smile, and then, like I said, with his voice, and he had the ability to, you know, shed tears and get through it. A lot of people, you know, can shed tears and they can't get through it. They just keep shedding tears, and he can, and he just shows that, you know, he was very thankful at the time to be able to bring that up.
No, it does, you know, and you know what? I'm not sure. Can I share like last couple
No,
weeks.
you know what? I love it. You know, this, you told me that story, and I think people need to hear this, and I think it's good for you to talk about this. So.
Yeah, and you know, and share with other people out there about this COVID-19, because you know, I was one of the early skeptics about this.
Well, a lot of people, not the only person, so don't feel bad.
You know, I thought, well, you know what? Everybody gets the flu. You know, we get the flu. I've gotten the flu in the past. You survive. You take your vaccine. You know. So I said, oh, just like the flu, you know. They go, oh no, this is a lot worse. You know, yeah, okay, you know. But then, sure enough, as it started going on and on, noticed certain people that I knew had passed away. I'm like, wow, you know, even though they were distant. So then, so about I'm gonna say Dennis died, I believe, you know, well, a couple of weeks ago, I believe. You know, I can't remember the dates. You know. But I do remember being at his home, like around November the 15th. You know, because I go visit him, and now with COVID, we do bump, you know, head, you know, wear a mask, you know. Before we did the man hugs, you know, he's my buddy, you know, so we're good. And so he goes, yeah, I go, my girlfriend tested positive. He goes, so I got to go check. I go, oh, wow. I go, you know, go check right away, dude. I go, because you just never know, you know, because we're hearing more and more. He goes, yeah. So, you know, going. So I said, well, I'll check you out later, brother. You know, we fist bump. I left. So this is so around the 24th, about probably like 5 or 6 days later. You know, I go, I haven't heard from Dennis. I'm gonna call him to see how he's doing. And he answered his phone, and he couldn't breathe. He could not breathe. Here he goes. I go to the bathroom. I come to bed, and I'm having a hard time breathing. And I go, dude, you need to call 911. I go, you don't sound good at all. He goes, yeah, I'm still waiting for my results. I go, don't wait for results. You got it, buddy. So anyway, I was driving down the block, and I go, I'm going to go to the fire department down on Gregos and 4th, right? So I get there, and I go, hey, I got a good buddy right down the block. I believe he got COVID. He can't breathe. He's having a real hard time. He goes, we can't go. I go, where do you go? We can't go. It's protocol now. He needs to call, or you need to call 911, or because they're going to ask you questions. I go, I have no answers. So I called Dennis back. I go, Dennis, you need to call 911 now. Yeah. So sure enough, he does it, and so I gave him a call that night before I you know went to bed, and just to make sure he got safe to the hospital, and he answered his phone, and he just told me that, you know, JC, thank you for the ride, thank you for being my friend, and I love you, bro, and he hung up, and I'm like, wow, you know, at least he's in the hospital.
So you're thinking,
I'm good. Yeah, he's in there, you know, and then we did see a post at Facebook. He had put out that night that he was dying, thanking everybody else who had been, you know, like, and so we're like, you know, that's Dennis, you know, right to the end, you know, so I'm dying, you know, everybody take care, positive, you know, and then sure enough, the next morning they put him in the coma, put a ventilator, or that night, you know, and 2 weeks later, you know.
And so basically, you might have been one of the last people to speak with Dennis.
Yeah, he made a couple of calls that night. Also, you know, there's a few, that he reached out to. If he died, when he dies, this is what I want done. You know, so Pastor Chuck has the more or less the final word, send out that Dennis wanted. You know, so we're still waiting on that to have closure on that. We're not there, you know, yet. I guess. His daughter is taking care of all this, the arrangement. So we're just waiting, you know. And as soon as we know something, like I said, everybody will, you know, we'll celebrate Dennis's life, you know, one last time, you know, and share good memories about Dennis, because Dennis was a.
Well, JC, we're going to go to a break, and we're going to come back and talk more about good memories about Dennis Chavez.
All right. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales. The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, since the
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We got J.C. Lopez here with friend of Dennis Chavez, and you got some great stories. Let's talk some stories that I told you my story in which
you know, people that know me know that I'm very involved with the Lobos. I'm a big Lobo booster.
I'm surprised you didn't have your Lobo.
Today I am what am I doing? I am promoting Jungle Jam indoor playground. My son JD, trying to open that up at camp because of the pandemic. But Jungle Jam, it's an indoor playground for kids. Up in Coors and Paseo. Anyway, to Dennis. So I take Dennis to a game, a Lobo baseball game, and Dennis some kind of skeptical. He's not a big Lobo fan, but he was. He
was boxing.
Yeah, he was boxing. He knew a lot about boxing. That's one thing I found about Dennis. He knew boxing. So here I had, I think Jillian Dominguez, Coach Birmingham, Sean, a few of the Lobo Club personnel that, are working, So there I got Dennis, and Dennis is rolling, man. Dennis is on stage. And he has his guys in stitches. And they're trying to be professional because they're working. But they could not hold their laughter with this guy. And I could just they're looking at each other, who's this guy? But Dennis would do like a show, and they would leave him happy, leave him in a good mood, and he'd just walk away, and he'd tell me, how'd I do? I go, Dennis, you're a natural, dude. You're just a natural. You're just a happy-go-lucky guy, So that's one, story. When he first met Coach Weir, right? So we're at a Lobo function, so I take him, And I go, hey, Dennis, I want you to meet, this is the coach, Coach Weir, the new Lobo, the new coach who just got here. He looked at him. I thought you were the water boy. Straight up, man, straight up. And Coach went with it. You go, well, that happens to me all the time, So, but no, Dennis was very upbeat.
Well, he spoke what that's what is contagious about. Sometimes you wouldn't think it was politically correct.
Right.
He
no
really
filter.
He spoke right on his mind.
Right. So. Yeah. No filter. And
another picture of Dennis.
Smile,
That's so neat.
Yeah. So Coach. Matter of fact, he was so impressed with Dennis that last year, I'm trying to think of the time zone because all this is changing. We spoke to the Lobo basketball team right after our practice. He asked us to do a motivational speech. So
So Coach Weir kind of gravitated to him and
Dennis. And
speak about that. You didn't go into detail about.
So when he asked us if we would speak to the team, I go, yeah. I go. I'd like to bring Dennis along. He goes, yeah, for sure. I want you to bring Dennis. So I did my little minute or two, man, because I wanted Dennis on. Sure enough, man, introduced Dennis. Dennis started talking to all these players, and Dennis had them in stitches. Not just laughing, but also motivational speaking, talking about New Mexico, about being proud, of being who you are, being, and Dennis just making them laugh the whole time. So after we talked, after Coach Wynn said, man, thank you very much. He told me, thank you for bringing him. These guys, one of a kind. I go, and he is. He missed his calling, really.
Tell you, you know, you spoke earlier about you and him did some shows, and
We did some comedy
I actually got to
shows.
see your show.
Yeah,
So on
yeah.
the west side.
I would feed
chamber.
off him, you know.
Yeah.
I would be like the straight guy compared to him, you know, like Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis. He was Jerry Lewis. I was Dean.
No, it was pretty. It was
Yeah.
entertaining. Y'all had that. And, you know, it was. If I remember right, it was right up here in this hotel, right up here. So.
Yeah. I think for the West Side Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah,
like
West Side
Christmas party
Chamber of
or something,
Commerce,
Yeah. Yeah, we did one. I don't have it, but we did one where we were small people. I guess I don't know what to call it. Be politically correct midgets, and we were inside our legs hanging.
Well, that's the one I saw.
Did you just see
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Oh
that-
my God! That was like. Oh yeah, that was like. He was funny. I mean, he was. I got that on film. I'm gonna put it out one
And
day.
you said the right. I don't know how politically correct
Yeah,
it was, but it was hilarious.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So it was. But you know what? He would always. He would get me mad, but we're friends. You know, we're friends. We're buddies. You know, we could get upset with each other, and that's it. You know, but we were never to the point where. But certain things that he would say, I go, dude, don't you have any filter, Dennis? I mean, come on, dude. You got to be careful what you say, you know, because he was hilarious. You know.
And you know, I had to speak about, you know, here's you know, he met me, and he, for whatever, he started checking into who I was and what, and, but he really he met my mom, and it was so cute. He was Mrs. Davis, and thank you so much for having Steve, and you know, making people feeling good. And that's basically what Dennis Chavez, like I said, and you're just sitting there going, where did this come from? You know, like I said, I've only known the guy for 4 or 5 years, and
But he left an impression with you. Yeah.
No, and I think I left an impression with him.
Yeah.
So.
He did like you a lot. He did. He told me, yeah, Stevie, yeah. He was very happy for having that boxing show. He was very proud to have it, and he did very well in it. And you know,
I tell you what, he had the boxers here. I mean, that was, you know, most people, as you know, it's not easy to have a show.
Yeah.
And people think, oh, it's just easy to have a show and get guests and well, you get people to you know come downtown. To use the time and it takes a little bit of effort and
it's not like you say, nothing simple. Yeah, you're right. You know, so and Dennis was very good about being a professional about it. You know, he was here on time all the time. Remember, he was time. You know,
Actually, early.
He had his notes.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew. He put his show together. It was good. I think it's on YouTube still. If you go on YouTube, go to Dennis Chavez ProView Networks, and it's still there. Dennis Chavez ProView Network or Legacy Boxing.
Legacy
Boxing. Dennis Chavez on ProView Network, and you'll see a lot of his shows. They're very good.
I tell you, you could always hear him. He would get pumped up. He would come in, and you could just see him get psyched up. He might be in a bad mood coming in, and then all of a sudden his show comes in, and he started.
And he did create his own little walking down the aisle with the girls, you know. Okay, yeah. So, you know, I think we're gonna share a little video of Dennis's.
We're gonna finish
tagline.
the show. We'll finish the show with Dennis Chavez. So
all right,
here we go.
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, since the dawn of man, it's always been hand to hand from the famous army, the pit, Tingley Coliseum, and the world-famous Civic Auditorium. They say boxing is a dream, but this is 2018. My words come out like lightning, and I roar like thunder, because it's going to be Ren and Payne in the square circle tonight. North side, east side, south side, west side, Burke, Duke City, 505. When I say what time is it, I want you to shout fight time. What time is it? What time is it? What time is it? What time is it? It's fight time.